All right, Eagles, welcome back. We have a Spotlight Athlete of the Week edition. We'll call this our Quarantine Shelter at Home edition. We had a great interview yesterday with Andrea Armstrong, 2019 alumni. Today, we're going to go back to one of our current student athletes. So we're going to introduce her. She is a junior. She had a sensational sophomore softball season, leading the ECC in hits, stolen bases, triples, batting average, and base percentage, and she was top 5 in doubles. So today, joining me is none other than Miss Olivia Craycraft. Olivia, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. There's nothing like being at home and having some face-to-face conversations. So I feel like I'm out of the house, even though I'm still stuck in my bedroom here. So
yeah.
But thanks for joining us. We're going to jump right into this. We got a couple questions for you. So let's talk about what you've been doing over the last 3 or 4 weeks. Obviously, we've been kind of shut down, shelter-in-place order. We've been kind of away from softball and all spring sports. So talk about what that transition's been like for you. What you've been doing to stay busy, stay active, and keep your mind sharp.
Well, I'm actually pretty lucky that the timing worked out because my sister and my brother both happen to be home right now, and I don't get to see them very often. My sister lives in New York City, which is obviously getting hit the worst right now, but she was home for other reasons and just happened to stay, so that was really nice for her because I don't know if she'd be able to get out otherwise. And then my brother obviously goes to Boston College, which was completely shut down, so he's back home too. So it has been nice to spend a lot of time with my family that I don't get to see that much otherwise. Played a lot of Monopoly, a lot of board games, getting kind of tired of that stuff, but trying to stay busy, stay positive with all of them. I've been in contact with my school team a good amount. Obviously, we all miss each other a lot. We were, really starting to get the team chemistry going when all this happened. So, but we've been able to have some Zoom calls and things like that, and I've been able to talk to them and talk to Coach Gregory, which has been nice. So, yeah.
Great. So I heard you've had a lot of games of Monopoly. So let me ask, who's been cleaning up all the cash in those games?
Oh, definitely me. Every game.
Oh, okay. Okay. So talk about your family. You have a pretty large family, right? You have 9 total siblings, quite the athletic pedigree. So talk a little about your family history and some of the athletic accomplishments and achievements in your family.
Yeah. So there's 9 kids. I have 8 brothers and sisters, and I'm number 7. And so the top 6 all graduated from Milford. Every single one was a student athlete. My oldest sister was a swimmer. Brother was a wrestler and runner. All 3 of my older brothers are runners. My brother Graham ran at Bellarmine. He just is actually graduated early, so he's a senior this year, but he just graduated from Bellarmine. And my brother Harris runs at Boston College. And then my sister was a diver at Princeton University, and I think she still holds one record at Milford. I think the other one got broken, but and then my sister Beatrice was a volleyball player at Milford, and I think she still probably has a record or 2. So yeah, got big footsteps to fill from my older siblings.
Yeah, what are those family parties, reunions like that? There's probably a lot of banter about who's the best athlete of all time at Milford and beyond, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, my dad was an All-American runner, so he kind of takes everybody on that. But yeah, there's a lot of that.
That's awesome. Obviously we're stuck inside a lot, having those conversations, spend a lot of time with family, which is wonderful. But if you are stuck with one celebrity or famous person and you were quarantined with, who would that person be and why?
I think it would be Grayson Allen, honestly.
Dude connection, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, I don't really follow him too much in the NBA right now, but I mean, I could talk about the 2015 national championship all day long, and I think that would be so fun.
Well, I know they've been replaying a lot of old games. So have you caught any good games, old basketball games, NCAA lately?
Oh, I've watched the 2010 national championship, the 2015 national championship, every Duke UNC game in the last 10 years. I've watched it over this break.
That's awesome. It's a great time to catch up on some history of sports too.
Yeah.
I've been finding myself doing a lot of the same things. So let's talk about softball now. Let's revert to that. Obviously, you had a sensational sophomore year, led the ECC in almost every major category. Our team overall is very young, coming in primed, I think really ready to make a big push and have a great season. Obviously, we're kind of stall mode right now, but talk about what you were looking most forward to for this season.
Well, yeah, as you mentioned, last year we were a really, really young team, and I think that was probably our biggest weakness. I mean, we had a successful season, but it was the first time in 6 years that we didn't win the conference, and I mean that just lit a fire under everyone. People worked so incredibly hard during the off season. I mean, we've been in the weight room since October as a team, on top of everybody's club practices, on top of everyone's individual hitting lessons and pitching lessons for our pitchers. So I mean, we worked hard to get to where we were, and I mean, in our preseason unofficial games, we were undefeated. We had great team chemistry. We were looking really great, and everybody was just on the same page that this year we weren't going to let what happened last year happen again. This year we were going to, make a statement. And I think that if we do get the chance to play, I think that we really will turn some heads with our season. And yeah, I mean, we have a lot of potential this year.
Yeah. No, obviously there's a lot of knowns right now, but if you can write a storybook ending for the rest of this spring sports season, let's just dream for a minute what could happen. What would that look like?
I think everyone on the team would agree with me. I think Coach Gregory would agree with me that this was a state Final Four team right here, if not a state championship team. I mean, looking back at the 2004 Final Four team, last time that happened at Milford, this team looks a lot like that team. I really think it does. And we've had people come in, work with us, and they've said the same thing. And, we're all, the seniors and leaders have done a good job of making sure that doesn't get to everyone's heads and, just kind of motivates us to work harder. And I really do think that that's the kind of season we could have.
That's awesome. Yeah, I really do hope we get a chance to show all that. And I know everyone's itching to get out there. I know from the AD world, we're trying to get out of the house. We'd love to get on the ball field soon with you. So hopefully we get that and make that a reality at some point. But we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk a little about you. You've got a little secret passion in sports journalism, right? So what I recently just found out when I saw an article on the Cincinnati Enquirer with your name on it. So tell us a little bit about your background and how you got started with that.
Yeah, so my sophomore year, AP Computer Science, Mr. Coombs, I owe so much to him, but beginning of the second semester, he sat us down individually and he said, I want to know you more personally, like I feel any good teacher should. And, he asked us what we were interested in, what, are we a math person, are we an English person? And I told him that I was into sports journalism because, I have a love of sports and I have a love of writing. And since I was younger, I always thought I wanted to put the two together. And he contacted Melanie Loffman at the Cincinnati Enquirer and asked if she would be interested if I did a job shadow. And so I spent a whole day there at the Cincinnati Enquirer, learned a lot about what it's like, learned about the process. And she asked if I would write an article about Walnut Hills girls basketball. And so I wrote an article about Walnut Hills girls basketball, and that was my the first work that was published. And then since then, I've been able to do more with her, and I just published the article about Jack Hanna.
Yeah, and that was amazing. I did read that, and quite writing skills that you have. I'm jealous. I wish I had half those skills. So talk about, obviously you did a nice piece on Jack Hanna. He's tearing it up at Denver, also in the indoor box lacrosse. So have you met Jack? What do you know about him and his career and his trajectory?
Yeah, it was really cool writing about him. Obviously, I'm very interested in sports, and I love learning all about sports that I don't know as well, which such as lacrosse. And so it was really cool to write that. I got to learn a lot about just how dominant he is right now, which is really really cool, especially coming from a Milford alum. And I followed him during his career at Milford. My brother and him were similar in age, so I followed the two of them. And I'm friends with Alex, so I know the family. And so yeah, it was really cool to write about.
That's awesome. Yeah, he's quite a young, impressive young man, and just recently been named, an All-American in lacrosse. So we're really proud of him, and that was a great story he did cover. And it's great having current students cover our alumni. That's a pretty unique and special thing. So job well done there. So, and we'll definitely use your talents. I think now that I know, probably for Milford High School athletics coming up. So now I know you have that talent. So the last question I have for you, it's a tough one. Obviously, we're in quite a situation. Like I said, a lot of unknowns. We just don't know what the future holds for us. So just any advice you would give to your fellow classmates, especially fellow seniors and spring sports athletes. They're going through a tough time, don't know what their season's going to be, their end of their senior year. So any advice, positivity that you want to give them, any message you want to give them?
Yeah, for everyone but the seniors, I would say use this to just work harder. Don't take anything for granted. Make next season your best season. For the seniors, I would emphasize the impact that every single one of them had on their program, whether big or small. Whatever their role was, they really did have a great impact. And I would encourage them to embrace sadness, but avoid anger. There's no one to be mad about. This is a hard situation for everyone. And instead of looking back with anger or sadness at what happened, look back at all the other memories they've made from their sport over the years, and just try to remember that for their time in high school.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great advice. Couldn't have said any better. Well, thanks for joining us, Olivia. I really appreciate it. It was a great interview. Hopefully we could do this again soon, maybe in person. Just want to wish you the best of luck this spring season. Hopefully get going, and we'll hopefully catch up soon, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Glad to have you. All right, Milford Eagles, until next time, we will flock on.